Rusviet Patriotic. Took us a minute to load in, so hopefully they waited for us. Alright, Rusviet Patriotic. This is a really nice combination. See what we have in the way of encounters. These are both good encounters for Rusviet. The villages are this one, and this one. And if we drive back a worker and still have 7 power, we're in good shape. And our combat cards are good. Okay, we're going to try to rush this game. See Albion produced. Polani's engineering, traded for metal. Albion is innovative, it's a good mat. Crimea's agriculture. Agriculture is a really good mat for Crimea, but it's slower than us. Industrial Tagawa can give us some trouble. See, after that move, I would have traded for 2 metal as Tagawa and then produced to get a Mac. Crimea is going to go for an upgrade. Polani is probably going to move or produce. Albion might trade for 2 food and then move. You always want to produce in your first 2 turns with Rusviet. Being able to meet in round 3 already have 5 workers and 2 metal is huge. So Tagawa can get Sutan. Start coming back here to take this metal. Similarly, Polania, they can get 2 quick mechs. They can backdoor us as well, so we've got to watch for that. Because what we want to do, okay, gonna have the mech next turn. What we want to do is we want to make our workers, get them up here on the farm. Problem then is that it's going to take us a while before we have our next mech to put down here. Yeah, Albion traded for 2 food. Now they're going to get their enlist. Polania started with the speed mech. We're going to produce one more time. And then Tagawa's turn is going to tell us if they plan to try to slow us down and ruin our day. producing coming for Tagawa. No. Alright, well next turn we're going to trade 2 metal. What that's going to do is it's going to give us enough metal to make our first mech, which will be a river walk, and it will mean after 3 produce and enlist actions, we'll have enough for the second mech, which will be speed. So now we're going to have a choice. We can bring the character up here and take this encounter when we move. The other option is we can move. Oh wow. It's round 4. Polani is going to have submerge and speed in round 5. We're going to have to give up on this encounter and move the character down here so we can defend our metal. Otherwise, Polani is going to come back in here, and that's going to slow us down by about 2 turns because we're going to have to trade twice to get the speed mech. Don't really know what Tagawa's doing here. They may want this encounter of ours. Going 3 workers with agricultural. Not sure I've ever seen that before. It's possible that Polani will try to go river walk with the idea of coming up to this encounter, taking Albion's metal. It's not what I would do. I would definitely go submerge, and go to the factory before Tagawa gets there and tries to place a trap token. And there it is, the submerged mech. So next turn they should move him there. If they drop a mech on the lake, and I'll build a mech. They'll do something else. I move. And then they can backdoor here. Gonna put our Riverwalk mech right here. Start to get some coin. Alright, are we finally going to see the first Tagawa mech? Yes. I'm guessing Toka. Yeah, they want my encounter. We're going to let them have that encounter. It's not going to hurt anything, really. We can't beat them to it at this point. I mean, we could, but we'd have to forgo our enlists, which is not worth it. But what it does mean is we have to move the character down here at this point to guard the metal. Our combat cards are good, so we can go for power off the first enlist, and Tagawa won't have a chance. That's interesting. Not really sure what role that mech serves there. I like to use the second movement to put a mech on the water here. That means the next time I move, I could steal metal from Rusviet. Could target this farm, bump workers, or try to take something from Albion if he leaves resources unguarded. But that's not what Polani wants to do, which is fine. Albion's already got his combat cards. This has been quite the move sequence by Tagawa to get this far and be ready to take over my encounters so quickly. Gotta give him some credit for that. I think Albion may have forgotten to hit in turn. I guess he could be choosing an enlist. I didn't notice if he had food on the ground. Oh, nicely done. That's a hard encounter to get. He coordinated that well. Alright. Gonna move all our workers with us to the farm. We're gonna take the farm that's far away from everybody. We're gonna move our character here. It's unfortunate because we miss out on the encounter. It's also unfortunate because it doesn't put our character in proximity to this village if we want to take population advantage. But we can't afford to let Tagawa bump our workers and take our metal. Or Polania, who has a factory card now and could do it next turn. Polani has a really good start this game. Their produce has oil underneath it, so they can use that factory card to get oil, and then produce and get an upgrade, use the factory card to get oil, produce and get an upgrade, and they'll have the worker star at that point and 2 upgrades. If they upgrade deploy twice, they could just turn around and upgrade mechs both times. That is not the encounter I wanted Tagawa to get, but at least they didn't bring the character and the mech. What trap token would we put here if we were Tagawa? Probably combat cards, since I only have 2 of them. He should go for that. Yeah. Kamiya has an enlist, but unfortunately for him, neither Polani nor Tagawa, except for this initial enlist, neither Tagawa nor Polani seem particularly interested in enlisting. Be nice to hit Albion, because they can't move next turn. But they need the factory card, and Albion already has their combat cards. So that's not good. Gonna trade, looks like. No, that was the factory card. He wants the power. It is unfortunate for us that Tagawa is not enlisting. Neither is Albion. But we'll get 2 cards off our enlist, which will put us to 4, and then 3 more enlists will get us to 7 combat cards. Gonna go power first. Tagawa doesn't get any ideas, because they're probably going to produce this turn and go with, my guess would be Ronin. So we want to make sure that we have the power. They are causing us some trouble, aren't they? Question is, how good are their cards? If Tagawa has a 5, they can win the battle. And they know we can't afford to go all out. They might be incoming. Thing is, we're going to drop to 2 we're going to drop to 4 power this turn, because we're going to enlist again. And we're going to have to go popularity so that we can keep on producing. And after we deploy our speed mech, we're going to have to take these guys up here because we've got 3 more productions left. No, we'll have enough. Be at 0 popularity, but we'll have enough without this encounter. And there's another combat card for Crimea. Oh, it does not have militants, so if they attack, they cannot spend. They can't spend the they can go for broke on power if they want to. Oh, thank goodness. Would have really hurt us. They'd gone after us just then. Maybe their combat cards are not good. It's the resources right now that have us in the lead. And the star. See, with agriculture, I like to go 8 stars. Anytime you have the produce action over something you don't want to do, in this case build, it's good to go with more workers. That way after one produce, you can toggle back and forth from deploy and enlist several times. If you do it right, it may be with Crimea, it may be enough for one produce, may be enough for all 4 of your mechs and all 4 of your enlists. But now he's got to produce once for what's basically 1 deploy and 1 enlist. Well, not exactly, because he's gotten 2 upgrades. So he can basically deploy for a combat card with just a combat card. And he can enlist with 1 food and a combat card while picking up combat cards, because he's upgraded the combat card bolster. He's doing a little bit better than I thought he'd be doing. But with Tagawa out of our backyard, we can go back to our game plan, which with Rusviet is just to use our economy. Try to outgain everybody with coin. Just race people to the stars. This is where it's nice that we went to this farm, because Tagawa take them 3 turns to get here. We'd have a lot of notice. Okay. Gonna go upgrade. Right here, because of them right here. And we're gonna get combat cards, because we'll get that coin eventually, and in the meantime there's really no purpose in having it. Sutan. Now they can go on lakes. We gotta watch out for that. The god was playing well. So was Plania. Plania is one mech away from a star. That looks like it. Crimea, it looks like they're getting their third enlist. And they're at 7 popularity somehow. Oh, I missed what the objective was, but they got it. It's probably enough to put them in the lead. No, not quite. So Polani is setting up right here to potentially come in and take our metal in a battle. So we're going to deploy our speed back at this turn and we're going to drop him right here. Polani could still win a battle with us. We could do People's Army and then we could play 3 combat cards. And that would keep them out of our backyard. But the fact is we need the speed mech because we're going to be bringing these workers down here after we get the speed mech. Because we still need 8 more metal to get the rest of our mechs. Be nice if Albion would start doing their upgrades and feed us a little power. We will get the 5 power off of this bolster and deploy. And severely reduces their incentive to attack with that metal gone. Alright, to go, what do we got? You're not going to produce this turn. Going to move to the village with just a mech. We're just spreading out a bit. Dropping another trap token. Sitting at 25 coins. 1 mech away from the mech star. Only 1 enlist though. Albion's got 2 stars. They got their objective and they got the worker star. Okay, depending on the objective, those 2 can be. They got Wolf Among the Sheep, I think it's called. Getting the objective and the worker star early is a little deceptive at how close you are to ending the game. You see 2 stars early on and you're not too worried if it's worker and objective. Plus they're producing on oil, so I'm not seriously worried about the upgrade star. Well, if they were thinking about attacking us, they changed their mind. Maybe wondering why we have so much food. Well, the reality is we don't need it, but it's worth some points. And why not? We wanted to have at least 3 so we could move down here, produce metal, and do our last enlist in the same turn rather than producing and enlisting again up here and then moving down and having to produce again. Saves us a turn to have a surplus of food up here. We're at 15 coin, which is good. We have 2 mechs left to build, and those mechs will net us another 6 coin. 1 produce left that will cost us a coin. So we're looking at about 20 coins, which is solid. Rusviet Patriotic can obviously get more coin. It just takes more time. I've got a 5-worker Rusviet Patriotic uploaded as well. If you want to check out 5-worker Rusviet Patriotic. I don't think I play it perfectly that round, but it's a pretty good example of how that works. Okay, we're actually going to leave the character here, because Polonia's food is under the movement action, which means they're going to have a lot of incentive to come in and attack us. With 3 here, I don't think they're going to risk it. And this one obviously could just go 1, 2, 3, but to attack with 2, they'd have to use these guys. So we're going to forgo this encounter again and end our move. We probably dropped out of first. Nope. Tied for first. But we have more units than Tagawa because we have 2 mechs, 8 workers, and a character. That's 11 units. And they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. Soon to be 8 units and coins. So now Tagawa is in the lead. We're hoping Polania just leaves that mech there all game. And thankfully we had 1 popularity left for this last produce. If we had to move the character up there to get the popularity for the last produce, we'd be living a little dangerously right now. The one thing that might cause Polania to attack us is if they have good combat cards. Because we could drop all 3 of these. We have to save. We have to save 1 power for the last produce. So that would be 4, that would be 16. Because we can't lose this at this point. But we leave ourselves vulnerable if we do that, because then we could come back with 3. 4 is 7 as our max if we're attacked again by Polania. So what we might do if Polania does attack us is throw low, let them use 3 of the food because we don't need it, and then come back and take it next turn. We don't want that move action to add to our total. We are going to have to get combats eventually, so. And it's going to be hard to get 2 at once anyway with that trap token there. We're not worried about a popularity trap. We'd probably be okay even with a combat card trap. But our combat cards are not high this game. Nope. Polania doesn't want it. There's some power. That's nice. That's right, 8 metal. Pretty much now or never, Polania. We are getting 8 coins off of resources right now. That's good for us. Because we have send one back. But if that's the power star, we won't get the objective. Because we're going to bolster twice to get to 9. It'd be nice if there was a worker here. We could use our township mech to jump there with a couple others to attack, lean on our cards, keep our power. We'll probably do that anyway. We just won't get the objective for doing it. Probably take another move action to come down here and attack Crimea. Of course, we're talking about several turns away. Tsugawa's trapped 3 of the tunnels, which is unfortunate. It does look funny to have so many units on one place. We're about to have 12, 13 units on one hex. Albion's trying to compete with us for that. We're at township. People's Army would protect us a little bit more, but let's preserve the option of attacking if we want to. Say if Crimea attacks here and brings a worker, that might induce us to attack them. Go ahead and grab that power star and that objective. I have to throw all 3 4s to get it, but that might be worth it. Now, if we're not worried about send one back, we could attack here, take another mech up here and up here, but we don't have the 3rd movement to put the worker there. See, we can go for 8 workers with Rusviet Patriotic. You're trying to rush the game. So we're going to get our 3rd star this turn. Push back out into the lead. And we're going to move to the factory and take what the board gives us. See, this is why we got the township mech, because we've got a Polania who may be about to give us a cheap combat. Since Polani moved, and they moved off of lakes, there's no one who can get back to our mountain spot in one move, so we can feel okay about moving our character and a mech to the factory. Alright guys, it's time to make your decisions. Tagawa's going to add 2 power from Ronin, so it's an interesting decision to attack him. I guess Polani is trying to preserve their popularity because they're at 7. Okay. This is interesting. Most Tagawa can do here is 5. So we're going to attack them and hope it's not the power. I was on mute. That was good for us because we're going to pick up this combat and we're going to pick up a an objective from Send One Back. Okay, we can afford to guarantee a victory here. This would be a bad time for Tagawa to throw a 5. We lost one of our 4s on that trap token. Don't forget the objective. So next turn's People's Army. And then if Polani is still there around 16, we take the factory and end this. Polani is not there. Depending on what Crimea does, we may still have the coin. Polania is already pretty spread out. Crimea has some room to spread out. Well, we're glad Tagawa didn't get that last turn. Tagawa never got the factory card, so we haven't been worried about a double move from down here. What did Crimea do? Just a bolster for the power star. See what Polania is going to do. If we'd gotten better combat cards. Okay, Polania picked up another star. It's okay. We get another star of our own. And a 3 coin increase. So that's 6. Albion, who's in last place, is going to attack Polania, who's currently in first. We're going to make the Mac. I mean, there's an argument for going to the factory, but because we only have 2 movements, we would basically have to take both of these guys. Which, since Polania has the factory card, they could come in and take all these resources, which means we would have to bring them with us. And then we would expose ourselves to a triple attack from Crimea. And we don't even have People's Army. So we have to go ahead and do this. But we can put it out here. Because we don't want to get these knocked back and lose the territory. Feeling pretty good. Everybody has to know that we're about to end the game. Thankfully, no one can suicide us to end it. For instance, if Tagawa had a substantial lead on us in coin right now, they could attack us and force us to lose the battle. It's going to be hard to deny us a combat star. Tagawa traded for popularity, but we win the tie, again because of units. 4 max, 6 workers in a character, 4 max, 8 workers in a character. Buildings count too, but neither one of us have any. Crimea can hit us with 3, but we can play 4 combat cards. If we win the combat, it's game over, so they're not going to attack. Because we have 5 combat cards. They might attack us if they knew how bad they were. Because the thing about Crimea, you have to assume Crimea has good combat cards. Because they're getting so many and spending so many throughout the game, that if they're sitting on 4 combat cards, it's because they weren't spending 5s throughout the game. Tagawa's up, but if someone attacks us and we win a combat, we still get 3 coin, which will be enough. Interesting play by Polania. Trying to maximize coins, I guess. He really shouldn't do that because he just took a territory away from Tagawa. And even though it wasn't going to matter, Tagawa was the only person that might have kept me from ending the game. For instance, if Albion decided to try to attack me, if that was a mine, I could probably bump everybody back. His combat cards are probably better than mine. Alright guys, this is the game. Bring a worker. We want to attack. Let's attack Tagawa. And let's take the factory because why not? Always throw the minimum power you need to win on the last fight of the game because power is the second tiebreaker. It's just a good habit to have. Tagawa played really well. Just wasn't enough against a good Rusviet board. Alright, that is 8 worker Rusviet Patriotic. Thanks for watching guys, and until next time, catch you later.